877-738-1234, 877-738-1234. Rob and Karen Hale will match up to $350,000 through the end of the Greg Hill Show, which is coming up at 10 o'clock today. Back here at Fenway Park, Dale Arnold, Andrew Raycroft. Happy to be joined by Julia Goldstein. She is over on this side. Dr. Matthew Yurgelun. Dr. Yurgelun is the director of the Lynch Syndrome Center at Dana-Farber. I didn't even know what Lynch Syndrome was. Did you when you found out that's what you had?
I actually did, but I get that a lot. A lot of people don't know what it was. I knew, fortunately, because my mother's first cousin had already started the genetic family research, and we already had a multi-generational pedigree done on our family. And that's really what got me into Dana-Farber as soon as I felt ill.
Doctor, Lynch syndrome's hereditary. How do you work with family members of Julia and other patients to work through the treatments and the diagnosis?
Sure. So Lynch syndrome is hereditary, and as we know, colorectal cancer in particular often runs in families. Taking a family history when we see somebody with colorectal cancer is extremely important. And so when we see a concerning family history, we nowadays are very prompt to get people in for genetic testing to look for things like Lynch syndrome. Once we know that it's there, there's enhanced screening, early screening that we can do, all in the name of early detection and hopefully prevention of cancer in the first place.
If you're my age, you know about colonoscopies and you understand the importance of regular screening. When you're your age, you don't think about things like colon cancer, probably.
Never. I never thought about that. Even knowing the Lynch syndrome in my family, I just had severe abdominal pain. I was 21 years old, and I went to my primary care. They thought maybe I had IBS, but I was referred to a gastroenterologist, and soon thereafter, I had my first of many colonoscopies.
You got engaged this summer.
Yes.
We got to mention the lucky guy off camera as well.
Sweet.
Congratulations, very exciting.
Thank you.
Your treatment was 6 weeks, but you still have surveillance, you still have screenings. Can you talk about that and how important that is for everybody watching now?
Yes, yeah. I do a multitude of screenings annually. I have an annual colonoscopy, an upper endoscopy, gynecological cancer screenings, dermatological, anything that associates with Lynch syndrome. And it just gives me peace of mind to have all those checked off the list and to know that I'm still healthy, and I feel like I'll be so closely looked at for years to come.
Doctor, it sounds as though, because of her family history, she gave you a leg up on looking at this because of the work that her family and she herself had done getting set up for all of the information you needed.
It's a great example of just know your family history. Talk amongst your family members. You know, unfortunately, families are complicated sometimes, but sharing information throughout the family as far as a family history of colon cancer literally can be life-saving. When that helps us understand that somebody needs an early colonoscopy, when that helps us understand that we might be dealing with a syndrome like Lynch syndrome, there's really so much effective prevention and screening we can put into place, not just to find cancer early, but hopefully to prevent it from ever happening in the first place.
And Julie, we're here at the Telethon. Can you just talk a little bit about Dana-Farber and what it was like being there and having your treatments there?
Oh, it was it was a great experience. Still have amazing doctors, great nurses. I was so well taken care of, and everyone is just so kind and understanding. And the work that the Jimmy Fund does is really what drives the Dana-Farber and our Lynch Syndrome Center, and it's really, such a great platform to help people like me get treatment as soon as possible.
Dr. Yurgelun and I were talking before we went on the air, and I said, when we started this, the word immunotherapy didn't exist. Thankfully, now it's a huge word in this world. Somewhere in a lab right now, there's somebody working on something we don't know about, we can't describe, but it could make all the difference in the world for someone.
Absolutely, and honestly, immunotherapy is so key in Lynch syndrome specifically. Lynch syndrome cancers respond beautifully to immunotherapy. We're still learning how to use those even now for earlier stage cancers, and people are even taking that a step further, trying to look into experimental ways to actually use the immune system, possibly to even help prevent cancers in Lynch syndrome. There's a whole lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and you're right, I'm sure stuff that we haven't even thought of yet. The future is exciting.
It gives you hope for the future as well. Now, you're doing great right now, but for people who will follow you down the road, there may be treatment modalities we can't even imagine that they're going to be able to take advantage of.
Exactly. It's so hopeful.
And you look like you feel great.
Oh, I feel awesome. Yep.
And you got a wedding to plan.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
do.
That's what she's excited about.
Andrew
Wedding
started
dressing.
hammering her. When's the wedding? And she said, no, don't do that.
I know,
Everybody
I
else is
almost
doing
sound like
that.
my
just
wife.
got
I think she does it to me
engaged
too much.
No, we're so excited. Our families are just so joyful about the whole upcoming process.
Well, that's the beauty of being treated at the Dana-Farber
Yes.
and getting treatment from Dr. Yurgelun. They can plan for things like this. They can look forward to a life together. That's what you're going to give this young lady.
That's the dream for all of us, is, you know, for people who are unfortunately hit with a cancer at a young age, to get them through that, get them past that, and get them back onto the good things in life.
Thank you very much, Julia. It's good to see you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Yurgelun, great to see you as well. And I'm very congratulatory. Show the ring off one more time. Girl's engaged. She gets to show the ring. That's what we do here. And best of luck to you going forward.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you guys very much.